Diamonds in the US is declining due to the growing popularity of lab-grown diamonds, which can be up to 85% cheaper.
An increasing number of fiancés are wearing diamonds made in a laboratory rather than mined from Earth.
Lab-grown diamonds?
Lab-grown diamond. Lab-grown diamonds.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Diamonds. They're precious and expensive that only kings were worthy of them. They're a symbol of power, money, wealth, and luxury, yet they're very old, a relic of the past, older than ancient empires and dinosaurs, formed over billions of years ago deep beneath the surface, 150 to 250 kilometers below the Earth's crust. If you've ever been at the top of the Burj Khalifa, the tallest skyscraper on Earth, you need to be on top of roughly 250 Burj Khalifas stacked up on top of each other. The only thing is, you're not going up, you're going down, where pressures and temperatures are immensely beyond imagination. However, the good thing is, you don't have to dig that deep, it's just where it starts. Carbon atoms are subjected to intense heat and pressure in the Earth's mantle to form diamonds. When the volcanoes of the past erupted, magma brought them up to the surface through special tunnels called Kimberley pipes. Diamonds can also form through impact. Shockwave from meteorites hitting the ground produces immense pressures and temperatures, forming micro and nano diamonds. The process took billions of years ago. So if you have natural diamonds, know that they're in fact billions of years old, which make them quite special and rare. It's not a secret that diamonds are the hardest natural material, meaning nothing can scratch it apart from diamond itself. You can find large deposits of diamonds in Russia, Canada, Australia, and many countries in Africa such as Botswana, Namibia, and South Africa. The second largest rough diamond has just been unearthed recently in August 2024 in Botswana, which was almost 2,500 carats.
What? So this is the 2,492 carat stone.
God is good.
However, the cullinan diamond is the largest gem quality ever found in history, weighing over 3,100 carats. It was mined in Cullinan, South Africa, founded by Thomas Cullinan, a South African diamond magnate, hence the name of the stone, 120 years ago in 1905. This diamond was cut into 9 smaller pieces, the largest of which was 530 carats, which is also the largest clear-cut diamond in the world, and is mounted in the head of the sovereign's scepter with cross. The second largest weighs 317 carats and is mounted in the imperial state crown. Both of these are part of the UK's crown jewels and are used during coronation of the monarchs. If you know your diamonds, you know they possess strong cultural significance. The most common symbolism attached to it is the eternal love, which is still widely observed in many cultures around the world today. And it's not a coincidence. A company called De Beers Group of Companies is partly responsible for this. Cecil Rhodes founded the South African-British corporation during the diamond rush in 1888, funded by one of the most influential family in history, the Rothschild family, and a diamond magnate, Alfred Bate. De Beers monopolized the diamond industry for most of the 20th century, controlling 85% of rough diamond distribution, from mining and trading to manufacturing and retail. Throughout its history, it's been involved in many controversies, including conflict or blood diamonds. If you live in Africa in the 1990s, brutal civil wars wreak havoc in diamond-rich areas such as Angola, Ivory Coast, and Sierra Leone. Rebel groups sell and smuggle rough diamonds and mix them with ethically mined diamonds to fund their war efforts and violent campaigns that resulted to violations in human rights and caused great sufferings to many civilians. This is when blood diamonds become a controversy. Since De Beers has monopoly over the diamond industry, global markets heavily criticized its diamond supply, implying that the source was unethical. One of its many challenges is the fear of boycott. Once diamonds have been cut and polished, it's practically hard to identify which diamonds are blood and which are not. Therefore, a certification scheme called the Kimberley process has been established by the UN Security Council in 2002 to police diamonds to ensure that every diamond that's being sold are indeed ethically sourced. With its success, not only the rebel groups eventually died due to lack of funding, but also poor African governments started to benefit from exporting legal diamonds. Today, De Beers claims that 100% of its diamonds are conflict-free with the help of the Kimberley process and its own diamond best practice principles. During the 20th century, De Beers' dominance was evident in its control over the supply and demand of diamonds. When emerging competitors didn't want to sell their diamonds through De Beers bullied them by overwhelming the market with abundant supply of rough diamonds to depress prices. When prices fell, De Beers bought and hoarded diamonds of its competitors to ultimately gain control over the supply and, of course, the prices. However, the demand for diamonds wasn't strong enough to match the supply. Therefore, it had to work on the most successful marketing campaign of the century. Released in 1947 by the leading New York advertising company, N&W Ayer and Sons, Francis Garrity coined the most infamous slogan, "A diamond is forever." Suddenly your love is represented by a diamond, and to show your undying love for your partner, you must propose with a diamond engagement ring. Although the Romans pioneered engagement rings in the past, De Beers was the one responsible for normalizing diamond engagement rings for proposals today. If you're not breaking your bank with diamond engagement ring worth 2 to 3 months of your salary, then it's not right. With natural diamonds taking billions of years to form and De Beers controlling 90% of global supply, it's marketed as rare and a scarce commodity. When it's rare, it's expensive. Scarcity sells. That's how De Beers controversially manipulated the diamond prices. In fact, if you talk about rarity, gold is even rarer than diamonds. Carbon is the elemental form of diamonds, and around 200,000 parts per billion is found in the Earth's crust. Gold, on the contrary, is only 4 parts per billion. So how come diamonds are rarer than gold? The key is marketing. Even though only 20 to 30% of mined diamonds are of gem quality, and the rest are used for industrial purposes such as cutting, drilling, and polishing, there would still be more diamonds than gold. But what if you don't have to wait billions of years to make diamonds? What if there's a way to make sure your diamond is not blood and not sourced out of human exploitation and conflict? What if you can make them in a lab? With the same quality, grade, and sparkle, if not better, free of impurities and conflict. Yes, lab diamonds are real diamonds, nothing less, and if anything, they're probably worth more. And this is not something new. In fact, growing diamonds started in the mid-1950s, and it's becoming more and more popular to consumers who are environmentally conscious and who advocates human rights for people who are at risk of exploitation. So, stay tuned, because this is the future of diamonds. If you have to compare natural diamonds to lab-grown diamonds, it's interesting to note that you'll find no difference at all.
They're chemically, physically, optically identical to natural. The only difference is one is formed in a lab.
The chemical composition is exactly the same. They're as hard as natural diamonds, scoring 10 on the Mohs scale, and they look aesthetically the same. The only difference is the time they take to form. Even if you're the most expert in diamonds, you'll never be able to tell if a diamond is lab-grown or not when you see one. There's just no way of telling it with your own eyes. If natural diamond formation takes billions of years, how are we supposed to replicate that? Fortunately, we didn't have to. Growing a diamond can take between 2 weeks and 3 months, and is entirely dependent on the size of the diamond and the method of growing it. I know you're like, really? Yes, really, but how? It all begins with carbon and a tiny diamond seed, a small crystal that acts as the foundation for growing a larger diamond. There are 2 main ways to do it. The first and oldest is hpht, high pressure, high temperature, and CVD, which is chemical vapor deposition. Both methods can create diamonds of the same quality. hpht replicates the pressure and temperature required to form diamonds. The pressure has to be around 5 gigapascals. Hypothetically speaking, if you're able to lift heavy objects, you have to lift 136,000 Burj Khalifas stacked up on top of each other to generate this much pressure. That's only if you're Superman. But the good thing is, you're not. Machines such as cubic press, split sphere press, and belt press have been developed to generate up to 10 gigapascals of pressure. Meanwhile, temperatures need to be around 2,700 Fahrenheit or roughly 1,500 Celsius. When these conditions are met, carbon atoms precipitate on the seed and diamond starts to form. This formation only takes 3 to 10 weeks rather than billions of years. Pretty cool, right? This method was initially used to grow diamonds for industrial uses only, but somewhere down the line scientists have significantly improved it, and now it can produce high-grade gem-quality diamonds. CVD, on the other hand, is like a microwave oven. Unlike hpht, CVD doesn't require that much pressure, and growth can occur under 4 psi. If you think about it, your car tire pressure has 30 psi, which is roughly 8 times more pressure than this method. However, it uses gases such as methane and hydrogen, which are energized in the chamber, using microwave power to generate plasma. And again, carbon atoms precipitate out of plasma cloud and rain down on the seed, forming and growing the diamond. CVD is more efficient in growing bigger diamonds than hpht, reportedly achieving 6 inches in diameter, and it may only take a relatively shorter amount of time of 2 weeks. You must have heard of GIA, or the Gemological Institute of America, and IGI. They use a standardized method of grading diamonds called 4 C's: color, clarity, cut, and carat. And if you're buying your first diamond, lab-grown or not, a GIA or IGI certification is standard to ensure the quality of your diamond. A perfect diamond has no color and perfectly transparent with no hue, but most of natural diamonds are not perfect. Chemicals such as nitrogen can give diamonds a yellow to brown hue. This is the most common impurity found in diamonds. Meanwhile, boron gives diamonds a shade of blue color. Now, these impurities don't actually make diamonds less of a diamond. They actually make them unique and rare. And if you listen to what I said earlier, scarcity sells. And as a testament to this, the world's largest blue diamond was sold for $57.5 million in a Hong Kong auction. It was an exceptionally rare 15-carat diamond called the De Beers Cullinan Blue. Yes, it was again found in South Africa's Cullinan mine in 2021. The rarest are not even blue diamonds. Can you guess which color is it? Yup, the red diamonds, which are only found in the Argyle mine in Western Australia. They're so rare that between 1957 and 1987, no diamonds with a pure red color were graded by the GIA, which is the leading lab for grading diamonds, and only less than 20 carats of fancy red diamonds were produced between 1987 and 2017. Lab-grown diamonds can achieve an almost perfect diamond state, meaning they can be better in terms of quality than natural diamonds, as they can sometimes be foggy. Therefore, if you want an almost perfect diamond for your proposal, a lab-grown diamond can be a perfect choice for you. Because of the environmental impact of mining, their popularity climbed up especially to millennials and Gen Z. Also, prices aren't as expensive as its natural counterpart. They can be 90% more affordable, they're eco-friendly, and you can be sure it's 100% conflict-free. As of 2025, 1 carat of a brilliant cut natural diamond costs $2,000 to $6,000, whereas a lab-grown is only over $400 to $1,000. Meanwhile, if you want a bigger carat with the same brilliance, this is where the gap is quite staggering. A 3-carat lab-grown only costs as much as $5,000, while the natural diamond can cost as much as $52,000. If you think about it, a lab-grown that has the same brilliance and the same size costs less than 1/10 to that of the natural diamond. Basically, you can propose with a bigger and better-looking diamond engagement ring for less than the cost of a 1-carat natural diamond. If that's not a better deal, I don't know what is. But why do you think it's the case? If lab-grown diamonds are indeed essentially the same in terms of chemical composition, physical hardness, and aesthetical beauty to that of the natural diamonds, and arguably better in quality, then why are they more affordable? I think it's a legitimate question everyone wants to have an answer to, including you. You probably already have a hint, and you're not wrong. It's because of the supply and demand, isn't that right? With evolving technology, it's becoming economically cheaper to synthetically create diamonds in a significantly shorter amount of time. Therefore, the supply of lab-grown is quite abundant, in contrast to that of natural diamonds that depend heavily on mining, making it significantly more affordable. In fact, big diamond players such as Louis Vuitton, James Allen, and Brilliant Earth have embraced lab-grown diamonds too. Interestingly, De Beers, that once dominated the natural diamond market, launched their own line of lab-grown diamonds called Lightbox, offering high-quality stones at a fraction of the price. But the big question is, how do you actually know a diamond is natural or lab-grown? Is there a way?
I mean, if I brought you two 2-carat rings, one was lab-grown and one was actually mined, would you be able to tell the difference?
No jeweler in the world can. They're chemically, physically, optically identical. Yeah, only labs can, because one has small traces of nitrogen, the other does not. But to the naked eye, there's no way to tell the difference.
Since lab-grown diamonds are more affordable, and there's no way your expert eyes can tell whether it's natural or lab-grown, it's easy for scammers to trick you into buying a lab-grown diamond for the price of a natural diamond. The easiest way is, if you have a natural diamond, you may find the grade and serial number inscribed on the widest part of the diamond. If it's lab-grown, you'll see the initials of the certifying lab, which could be GIA or IGI, along with a unique report number of the stone. A more sophisticated way to do it is through phosphorescence. When exposed to a bright light, lab-grown diamonds continue to glow even when the light is gone. The glow can last from seconds to minutes. Phosphorescence is more common to lab-grown diamonds due to the presence of the element boron, which is often used in the growth process of lab-grown diamonds. There's a special equipment used to do this, and you can ask your jeweler to do the work for you. However, don't be surprised if your jeweler doesn't have the equipment, as it can be expensive. But if you really want to do the test and your jeweler can't do it for you, you can send your diamond to GIA for testing. Because of the growing demand for lab-grown diamonds, misconception about them having lower emotional or symbolic value is also on the rise. Not because they're synthetic, not because they're not aesthetically beautiful, but because they're more affordable and they don't feel as rare anymore. Thus, lab-grown diamonds are perceived lesser. Remember that eternal love is attached to diamonds? That it has to cost as much as 3 months of your salary? And since it's become more affordable, more people can afford to buy a 3-carat diamond. Suddenly, it doesn't feel as special anymore. Isn't that ridiculous? Extracting diamonds isn't easy. It means digging deep into the earth, using either intense manual labor or gargantuan machines like excavators to tear through large areas of land believed to hold diamonds. The world's largest excavator, the Bagger 293, was built by the German company Takraf in 1995 and cost around $100 million. This behemoth is twice as tall as the Statue of Liberty, 150 feet wide, and equipped with 18 rotating buckets that can dig up to 240,000 cubic meters of soil a day. To put that into perspective, if it were tasked with filling the Burj Khalifa with soil, it would get the job done in just a week. Because of this, diamond mining has taken a serious toll on the environment. If you're the diamond company, even before mining begins, you'd have to clear out vast areas of trees and forests, since that's often where the richest diamond sources are found. Mined areas also face a high risk of soil erosion, since there are no trees left to hold the loose soil in place. For every carat of diamond mined, around 250 tons of earth are displaced, wreaking havoc on biodiversity and natural habitats. Many African countries are landlocked, meaning water supply is limited, and often not even enough for clean drinking, with around 400 million people lacking access to basic drinking water. Diamond mining uses 126 gallons of water per carat, and without proper treatment after processing, contaminants can seep into waterways, posing serious risks to both humans and wildlife. Not only are natural resources being exploited for profit, but humans are too. African nations, some of the poorest in the world, are rich in natural resources. Yet despite this wealth, accessing those resources is nearly impossible for many, leaving the population in poverty while others profit. If you lived in these African countries, you'd likely do anything to escape poverty. You'd risk your life working for diamond mining companies, earning only a fraction of what the diamonds are truly worth. Driven by desperation, you'd be forced into labor-intensive tasks, exposing yourself to hazardous substances and extreme physical demands. In some cases, as young as 7 years old, you'd risk your health and safety to find diamonds, only to earn meager sums, sometimes less than $1 a day.
This is one of the thousands of unregulated, unmonitored mines in the DRC. It's crawling with children, working like modern-day slaves. A 12-hour-long day of punishing work may earn them the equivalent of £1. Although one of the poorest countries on earth, DRC is rich in minerals. An army of children are at the heart of the mining production. Wearing no shoes and in the most wretched conditions, Dorsan is ordered to retrieve the sack he's forgotten. There's an urgency now. The rains make this dangerous work even more risky, and Dorsan's told in no uncertain terms he risks a beating if he messes up again. Dorsan, with Richard beside him, have worked all day. They're 8 and 11 years old. Even this punishing work doesn't guarantee enough for food. Dorsan hasn't eaten for 2 days now. This is what helpless looks like, and he's one of the children making millions for multinational corporations in America and China whilst they suffer in squalor. For this, they'll get maybe 8 British pence a day.
If you belong to indigenous groups like the San people, who traditionally live by hunting and gathering in southern Africa, you'd have been displaced or evicted from your ancestral land. Colonizers took over, forcing you out of diamond-rich areas like Botswana and stripping you of access to the resources that were once a vital part of your life. And allegedly, even after Botswana gained independence, returning to your ancestral land remains out of reach. The traditional skills that once connected you to the land have been lost, and you've become so reliant on government handouts, often disguised as support, that your ability to thrive independently has been diminished. Even with the introduction of the Kimberley process, meant to ensure diamonds circulating in the market are conflict-free, it's still vulnerable to corruption. The process can't fully guarantee that diamonds are actually free from conflict. Today, Russia stands as the largest producer of rough diamonds, supplying 1/3 of the global market. Since the invasion of Ukraine, Russia has allegedly been using its diamond supply to fund its war efforts. Despite this, the EU has avoided imposing a diamond ban on Russia, primarily to protect Antwerp, Belgium, the diamond capital of the world. They claim that importing non-Russian diamonds is going to be expensive, and since Russia is desperate for money to fund its war, its diamonds have become so cheap that many are turning the blind eye and don't disclose their diamond source.
Russia is the world's largest producer of rough diamonds. They are one of the few major exports still untouched by sanctions imposed in response to President Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine last year. Critics say revenue from the industry helps finance the war.
However, that's not the only thing. Remember that when conflict diamonds are mixed with ethical diamonds, it's practically hard to tell which ones are blood. Diamonds can change hands 20 to 30 times between mine and market. That lack of traceability is why the trade is so attractive to criminal activity and why critics say an EU ban is flawed. The major complication is that 90% of the global diamond supply is shipped abroad to be cut and polished, regardless of where it's been mined. Most of these diamonds end up in factories in India, and once the diamonds are polished and ready to be shipped, they become labeled as of Indian origin. So, what can you do? How can you avoid fueling these conflicts? Unfortunately, there's not much you can do to fully escape it. As a consumer, your best option might be to boycott diamonds. But the problem is, diamonds have been a status symbol for countless generations, and it's likely they'll continue to be for many more generations to come. That's where lab-grown diamonds come in. You already know they're conflict-free because they're not the result of human suffering. They're grown in a lab. And since these diamonds are chemically, physically, and optically identical to natural ones, they're not just real diamonds. They're a better, more ethical option. Lab-grown diamonds have tackled the issues of environmental destruction and human exploitation, making them increasingly popular, especially with Gen Z. You're not just thinking about the price tag, you're considering the ethical cost of your purchase too. In fact, the market value of lab-grown diamonds has grown from roughly $22 billion in 2023 to around $26 billion in 2024, and is expected to grow threefold by 2032. They're a much more eco-friendly choice because growing diamonds doesn't involve deforestation, land destruction, or water waste. It also doesn't rely on people like you doing hard manual labor for meager pay. Instead, the entire process happens in a controlled environment, right inside a laboratory. However, diamond growing is not entirely clean. It requires intensive use of energy through electricity, and this requirement is powered by burning coal, which is the single biggest contributor to climate change caused by us. While lab-grown diamonds do use intensive energy from high pressure and temperature processes, their carbon footprint is much lower than mined diamonds. You're looking at just 0.028 kilograms of carbon dioxide per carat, compared to 125 kilograms from mining. By choosing lab-grown diamonds, you're actively helping reduce greenhouse gas emissions worldwide. Also, there are ongoing efforts in making the production of lab-grown diamonds even more sustainable than it already is by utilizing renewable sources of energy such as hydro, wind, and solar energy. For instance, India and China produce almost 3/4 of the global lab-grown diamonds combined and rely mostly on coal burning to supply the energy requirement for growing diamonds. Most retailers are supplied by these two behemoths. However, LVMH, which owns brands like Bulgari and Tiffany & Co., committed itself to 100% sustainability in growing their diamonds by investing $90 million in Luzix, a company that uses solar energy to power reactors. In addition, just as farmers must adhere to the USDA Certified Organic Standard in order to receive USDA certification that confirms their organic claims, as a diamond producer, you must also adhere to 5 pillars of sustainability to receive a sustainability rating for climate neutrality. The SCS-007 Sustainability Diamond Rating Certification was developed by SCS Global Services in collaboration with environmental scientists and jewelry industry stakeholders worldwide. This certification applies to natural or lab-grown diamonds that are sustainably and ethically produced and certified climate neutral. It gives you the assurance that the diamond you're buying was cut, polished, and set into jewelry by workers in safe, humane conditions, receiving fair wages for their labor. So, if you're a buyer who values making informed decisions with your purchases, lab-grown diamonds have got more transparency with their documentation through various certifications. But if you're an investor and you're buying diamonds for their investment value, natural diamonds have a slight edge over lab-grown diamonds. Natural diamonds tend to hold their value or even appreciate over time. And they're millions, if not billions, of years old, which gives them a sense of timelessness and uniqueness. Mined diamond supply is also relatively limited in contrast to its counterparts, and the extraction process is costly, which contributes to their value. Whereas lab-grown diamonds may depreciate due to their relative abundance and the fact that the industry is still relatively new. They're produced in a matter of weeks and don't have that same backstory. They also have a virtually limitless supply, and as technology improves and production scales, it's likely that lab-grown diamonds will continue to drop in price. Therefore, with this difference in rarity, the difference in value is directly affected big time. Remember, scarcity sells. Although lab-grown diamonds cost roughly 80% more affordable, their resale value today is where you might find them unappealing. Natural diamonds often retain around 50% of their initial value, whereas it's almost impossible to resell the lab-growns. Once you make the purchase, you'd lose a big percentage of its value. It's like buying a brand new car. Once it's out of the dealership and you decide to return it the day after your purchase, and even if you only drove it for less than a kilometer, you won't be getting the entirety of your money back. Therefore, if part of your reason for purchase is investment, the natural ones are a better option.
I imagine the only reason you'd want a real diamond versus a lab-grown diamond is for the value of it. Since you can't see the difference, you can't tell, you won't know. I guess the only reason that you would want a real diamond is to hold the value, but as it drops, that reason becomes moot.
Yeah, I mean, historically, there's two reasons people bought natural diamonds. One is this inflation hedge because it starts appreciating over time. And two, there's financial flex. So if you're wearing a 2-carat or 3-carat ring, it's telling you something about yourself. With lab-grown being 90% cheaper, the financial flex goes away. With diamonds going down in price, the investment thesis goes away.
Diamonds are not just prized for their allure and beauty. They also play a critical role in advancing science and technology. Their unique properties, such as exceptional hardness and the ability to conduct heat, make them invaluable in fields like quantum technology, space exploration, and the medical field. You've probably heard of quantum mechanics or quantum realm in the Marvel's Ant-Man movies, where Ant-Man is seen breaking the laws of physics by shrinking and growing himself into impossible sizes. Well, quantum technology in real life is unfortunately nothing like that. I hope it was, though, because it would have been so cool if I could just shrink myself whenever and wherever I want to. Although Ant-Man is a scientific fiction, it has a very good depiction of quantum technology. It's basically based on the principles of quantum mechanics, which are the laws of physics that apply to subatomic particles. Its most common application is in quantum computing that allows to process data differently from conventional computers that use binary codes. At the heart of quantum computing is a quantum bit, or qubit, and this is where diamonds play a vital role. With diamonds' properties such as their exceptional hardness and their ability to conduct heat, they possess remarkable stability, which is crucial for maintaining the efficiency and accuracy of quantum systems. Therefore, tackling complex problems far beyond the capabilities of traditional machines have been made possible by quantum computers, with revolutionary potential in areas like cryptography and advanced simulations. Diamonds are basically their best friend. Diamonds can survive in some of the harshest conditions imaginable, and they've been beneficial to the aerospace industry to improve the mechanical and thermal properties of aeronautical components. Element 6, a UK-based synthetic diamond manufacturer, has been producing nanodiamonds for use in composites and as a coating material. Their nanodiamonds have shown resistance to fatigue and tolerance to damages on aircraft structures. There's a recent discovery in quantum technology that indicates lab-grown purple diamonds could potentially amplify weak microwave signals from deep space by 1,000 times. Currently, electronic amplifiers are being used to detect signals from very distant spacecraft like Voyager 1, which is now more than 15 billion miles away from Earth, but still sending out data. Therefore, if we can advance this technology using lab-grown purple diamonds, the amplified signals could ultimately be crucial for expanding our understanding of the universe and fundamental physics. Diamonds are also making waves in the medical field. Their biocompatibility, chemical stability, and strength are paving the way for innovations like diamond-coated implants that resist wear and tear, or nanodiamond drug delivery systems that improve the precision of treatments. Because lab-grown diamonds can be highly fluorescent, high quantum efficiency of nanodiamonds may result in bright fluorescence, which may contribute to high contrast imaging. Because of this, early detection, treatment, and effective prevention of cancer have been made possible. Biocompatibility means they work well with our body, and customizing nanodiamonds with chemical groups can detect specific biological substances. If you have cancer, nanodiamonds play a pivotal role in cancer treatment, especially when it comes to delivering medication. Many drugs struggle to reach cancer cells without causing damage to healthy tissues, but nanodiamonds solve this through active tissue targeting. This method targets cancer cells directly, consequently avoiding healthy cells. On top of that, nanodiamonds have the ability to overcome chemoresistance against cancer cells, which is a breakthrough in cancer treatments. Meanwhile, if you're blinded from an age-related disease such as macular degeneration, or if you suffer from retinitis pigmentosa, which causes blindness, artificial retinas using diamonds are being investigated and trialed. Their optical properties and ability to integrate with biological tissues make them excellent candidates for bionic eye implants. While diamonds are admired for their brilliance in jewelry, their true value lies in how they are revolutionizing medicine, technology, and sustainable industries. By producing diamonds in a lab, we can meet growing technological and industrial demands without depleting natural resources or contributing to environmental harm. But this choice is about more than just price tags. It reflects what matters most to you as a consumer. For some, the uniqueness and history of a natural diamond make it a priceless symbol. For others, the practical benefits of lab-grown diamonds, lower cost, ethical sourcing, and a smaller environmental footprint make them the clear winner. At the end of the day, the decision isn't just about tradition versus innovation. It's about choosing the diamond that aligns with your values.